somewhere.
Well, yeah, I mean, there is always exploration and everything else, but yes, it does make you wonder. I mean that's been a conspiracy theory going on for decades upon decades. Well, I guess again since Roswell or so, maybe even before that. But about what the government knows or doesn't actually know, what they more to the point, what do they know about UFOs and extraterrestrials and all of that subject, and because then they'll even things will wind up declassified later, and then the entire page upon page upon page of things are then blacked out, for security. But it's like, it does make you wonder, what are they not sharing with everyone,
I don't know. I've been really confused since about November. Now that the leakage that came out with the video of the two Navy pilots, off the aircraft carrier, chasing a UFO and not even being able to catch it or anything, and it doing all its weird things. Okay, now that was like 4.5 years ago, but it started circulating all of a sudden on the internet and on the news November of last year. And then a couple months later, the Secretary of the Air Force, right, for the graduating cadets, tells them that, hey, that don't worry, there won't be another world war on the ground. The next world war won't be a world war. It'll be a war out in space. Now, you have the Secretary of the Air Force saying that, which I thought was kind of weird. And then 2 months later, our president jokes around and says, maybe we got to create a space force. Then about 2.5 months later, he directs him and the vice president direct the Pentagon to go out and, start the creation of what it would take to create a space force. And then he kind of used the words, to, protect us, from them out there. So it's kind of a lot of weird things that's been transpiring the past year. Well,
politically since 2016 that too. So politics has been kind of turned on its side. So that got my attention too when you were talking about Reagan earlier and Star Wars and everything. And that's the first thing I thought was like, oh well, that's kind of back in the news right now because Trump had mentioned that, wanting to form a space force.
Well, I don't know. Maybe next year or something we might have neighbors that kind of have pointed ears. I don't know.
Well,
Hey, they could make great lovers.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking. I'm like, yeah, that could be interesting. Little. You'll have the extraterrestrial Tinder site go up.
Oh yeah, something I don't know. We're getting down to the last little bit there. In fact, actually, I just looked at the clock and we went over. But I own the network, so I can get away with it. Now,
that's an awesome thing. Yes.
Now, on some of the movies, you want to tell the people where they can actually see some of your older movies and list them and all that stuff, and let's promote.
Yeah. We'll do a little promotion here. Yeah. Well, check out. You can get a copy of Dark Realm. Get the DVD. It's loaded with extras. Got great music. You'll love it. I'll even sign it for you. You can get that at my website, FitzgeraldRealm.com. There's other cool things in the store there, but you can get your copy of Dark Realm there, along with the T-shirt and all that fun stuff. And please, while you're there, sign up on my email list at FitzgeraldRealm.com, and you'll get notifications on what's coming up movie-wise and other special offers and shows and things like that. So please feel free to go sign up on my email list. And so you can see Dark Realm right there right now. We're changing up the distribution right now, so it's actually not streaming on Amazon at the moment. It will return to Amazon soon. So right now, the only way to see it is go grab the DVD. And we're making other changes. We're working on other platforms that and I'm in a place in the negotiations where I can't say where it's going next quite yet, but believe me, I will come back and share that with you and your listeners when I do, because I'll have news on that very, very, very soon. So we're changing up the new places where you can go and find and see Dark Realm very, very soon. And in the meantime, you can also I'm trying to think of what else is out there streaming right now. You can see Arkham Sanitarium Soul Eater. It's part of Amazon Prime, so if you have Prime, you can watch that for free. By director Julian Grant, and that I have a smaller role in that, but it's a fun film. It's got an H.P. Lovecraft theme, and it kind of is a parody of the found footage genre kind of movies. So you'll like it. It's funny. It's funny and it's creepy and it's scary. And that is on Amazon. It's called Arkham Sanitarium Soul Eater, and that's on Amazon Prime Video. You can, I don't know, Magus was streaming on there, but I don't know that it is currently. You can still find Magus on DVD via, go to Amazon. Amazon's got it. There's actually a Magus has its own page on Facebook, and you can find a link, I believe, to the DVD on Amazon on the Magus page on Facebook.
Wow.
And so there's a bunch of them out there. If you want to see what else I'm doing, I've got a new one coming out soon. It's in post-production called The Devil Frame, written and directed by Rob Sepulveda, who I did Year of the Ox with. That's a short film that you can actually see. That's on YouTube if you want to see. It's just like a 10-minute short we did together. But we're making this is a feature film, and it's about The Devil Frame is about the ritual magic set in the world and then the high-end art world. So it's really interesting. It's magic and it's surreal and it's ritual magic and voodoo and voodoo and then it's a good ride. It's very fun, and then that's set in the world of art. So it's interesting to see how art and the supernatural then kind of collide into this supernatural tale. And it's kind of inspired by the old occult supernatural films of like the 70s and 80s and things like that, when they made some. That's at the 70s really made some good, great, erotic occult films at that time, which I really liked. And this definitely has, some of an erotic edge to it as well. So if you're up for that kind of ride, you'll be, go find the page out there on I think there's a website, and then there's also a page on Facebook for The Devil Frame, and I believe that you can find the trailer to The Devil Frame on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
So that's the next one coming up. And then the other ones, go to my IMDb. You can find me on IMDb, and you can just go through the list and see. You can search and see what's streaming and what's not at this point. At one point, Blood Gnome, I have a smaller role in that. Blood Gnome was streaming on Netflix, but I don't know that it is currently. I haven't checked recently. So it's hard, there's enough things out there. You should be able to find something. Or, if you don't find it streaming, because everybody wants to watch it streaming. We all do. We all watch everything streaming. But if you can't, I know you can find the movies on disc out there as well.
Now, what are you doing now for Halloween? You got a performance or something going on Halloween? Where are you going to be at?
There's several things coming up. I'll be at the Davis Theater on the 4th. They're doing a great production. They're doing horror films and some burlesque and other performance there. I'll be part of that.
Now,
that's in Chicago.
Chicago, okay.
Yeah, that's in Chicago, and also in the Chicagoland, actually in Wheaton, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. On Saturday, October 20th, I'll be performing at a big show, and I'll be a guest all day. It is the Haunted Halloween Flea Market, and that is in Wheaton, Illinois.
Okay, so if you live
on that,
Wheaton,
there's a link to the events up on there, and you can find information on that on Facebook. It's all over there and other places. It'll be up on the website and everything soon as well. And then it looks like the last weekend I am going to be at the Vampire Ball, the Endless Night Vampire Ball in New Orleans, Louisiana. So down to NOLA for some vampire fun. So if you're in New Orleans, you can catch me at the Vampire Ball that last weekend.
Yeah. Boy, I seen a picture. I haven't seen a picture with you with fangs, and you could do a good vampire.
I've done, yeah. You know, that's the thing. I've done several vampire films. None of them, not a lot of them, made it out to market. Sadly, you know, so where people can find them. You know, one was a short which actually won a prize for the director, but he hasn't put it up anywhere where you can stream it. I was surprised it didn't wind up on, you know, even as a short example of his work on YouTube or something. And so that wasn't out, and then he did something called Afraid of Sunrise and a few others. I actually played Dracula in a film, and you know, that's out there somewhere too. But that unfortunately did not turn out how anybody hoped it would. It's you know, I can't really recommend that one.
Okay.
So yeah, I love vampire movies, and I'm in several of them. But I'm you know, I'd love to do my own. In fact, I've got a great series of photos I did with dark art photographer Jim Sorfleet here in Chicago, and we've done like a whole Nosferatu series. And there's a lot of Nosferatu photos, and you can see some of those on my site and on the website and everything. And everybody thinks they're so good. Everybody thinks they're movie stills. And so I've been thinking about doing my own Nosferatu movie. I'm writing it now, and this was before it was announced that the director of The Witch, Robert Eggers, is doing his Nosferatu movie, which I believe is shooting right now. And Doug Jones is playing Nosferatu in that, and that will be pretty cool because Doug Jones is amazing. If you saw Shape of Water, he plays the monster in that, and he's played a lot of things. You've seen Doug a lot, whether you've known him or not. He's in the Hellboy movies and a bunch of other cool things. So Doug Jones is going to play Nosferatu, but I'm working on my own Nosferatu project, you know, and that's very preliminary, but I'm writing it, and then there's talks of other vampire movies because I give good vampires, so I'd like to do some more vampire work. That's actually a good vampire movie that actually gets out, you know, into the market where people can see it, you know.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I'm working on it because I love the vampire flicks and stuff, but it's like some of the smaller projects wanted to reshoot and do a longer version, a full feature version, even though it was just about feature length as it was about an hour long. And that played film festivals and everything, and then sadly didn't go anywhere beyond that. And that was a good movie called Afraid of Sunrise, and there were a few others, but like I say, nothing that has made a big impression where you know it's out there in the market and I could send you to it. But there is a lot of vampire stuff. I've done a lot of vampire work in my show and in other things. So. Hopefully soon you'll begin seeing a good vampire film, one way or the other. That might be one of the next projects I do, actually.
Well, Ron, our time is pretty much up. Now, hint, I would certainly like an 8x10 signed autograph photo of you from my studio, but that's just a little slight hint. But, what can I say?
Yours for the asking, my friend. I can make that happen for you. You're talking to the right guy.
And starting here shortly, we're going to do on Fridays for Scary Night, we're going to start doing Facebook Live at the same time as we're broadcasting. So, I mean, that picture could, stand out there, too. Anyway, Ron Fitzgerald, it's been great having you on there. Even if we lost you about 4 or 5 times on the phone, it was... Oh,
it was a hellish technical night, but at least it held up once I did a little technical swap on the battery, so that's good.
Well, I'm glad it was your side. I thought it was because I was talking about MasterCard, and then I started talking about Google, and then Microsoft. So any one of those could have had me disconnected. So, what can I say?
You never know. You never know. That's our very own conspiracy theory that we can explore on the show next time.
Oh yeah, we could. Well, again, maybe in about a month and a half, we'll try to get you back on. I know you're a busy person, and I want to thank you for taking the time to come on my small show.
Well, Gary, thank you. You're awesome. I love hanging with you, and because it's so relaxed and it's very fun, and I love the show. And thanks to everybody who tuned in to listen to us. Always a good time. Keep listening to the show, and Gary and all the great guests you have.